He is actively sabotaging the Rangers at this point, as with a handful of games left in this regular season and almost nothing to play for anymore, Peter LAviolette makes one of the most shocking, bewildering decisions of this entire season. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Rangers Digest, but before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 68% of you who watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel, so if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with your New York Rangers, it's free. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now, I wake up this morning to some of the most insane news and updates that I've seen from the Rangers all season. And in saying that, we all know how this season has gone. That's absolutely insane to say, but yet it gets worse. It somehow gets worse. Peter LAviolette, I think, is actively sabotaging this team at this point. And I was very complimentary of Peter LAviolette earlier this season. Not anymore. It's over. I think he's actually sabotaging this team. It's actually insane. Gabe Perreault has been scratched for tonight's game against the Philadelphia Flyers. What are we doing, Peter? What are we doing here? This is official. LAviolette has confirmed that Gabe Perreault is out tonight. Brett Berard slots in for him, and Quick starts in goal. Kreider looks good to return. He will be returning from injury, although it's not officially confirmed, but it looks like he will be returning from injury. Now, let me calm down a little bit. We'll dissect some of this. Kreider Miller, he's been out with an injury. It looks like he'll be coming back. That's good news, I guess, to some people, right? I guess as this season winds down, Quick starts again. Shesterkin can't start every game. Quick's got to get into a game. You're playing the Flyers, who have been playing a little bit better since they fired John Tortorella, who's another guy I don't even want to talk about in this video, but we're going to have another video about John Tortorella because that's been flying around as well, and that's getting a little scary. Brett Berard's been great, and I think he should be in the lineup, but over Gabe Perreault right now makes no sense to me. The Rangers are not going to make the playoffs. Let's be realistic about this. Mathematically, they still can. It's not going to happen. I actually expect them to lose this game tonight at this point. They're not going to make the playoffs. So, with nothing to play for, why are you dressing your best lineup if you're Peter LAviolette? Get Gabe Perreault in there. Get him some NHL experience. What are we doing here? This is actually shocking to hear. And LAviolette said the lines will be the same minus Gabe Perreault, with Brett Berard taking his spot and with Chris Kreider and Carrick. I am so blown away by this update this morning. It's unbelievable. And as you can see here, Othman down on the fourth line with Brodzinski and Rempe. You got Lafrenière, Panarin, and Trocheck. Panarin has been dragging that lifeless corpse of a line around for the last month, and Trocheck has been okay at times, but we're going to get to Lafrenière later in the video because we got some insane stats about Lafrenière to break down. Now, Will Cooley playing with JT Miller, Mika Zibanejad. Zibanejad, again, back on the wing. That's pretty interesting. He spent some time over the last month and a half playing at center, and then you got Chris Kreider, Carrick, and Berard, and that's your new line there on the third line. Now, as you can see here, Kreider Miller is skating for the New York Rangers this morning. It looks like he's likely to return tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers. And this is kind of where it started. And Vince said he didn't want to sound any alarm bells in terms of, lineup decisions tonight because they hadn't seen line rushes. But Gabe Perreault is hanging with the likely scratches at center ice. So he's a scratch tonight. I cannot wrap my head around this. Let me know in the comments if you have any idea as to why this might be happening, because this is absolutely bewildering to me. I can't make any sense of this. With where the team is right now, you're not fighting for a playoff spot. It's over. It's over. You're not mathematically eliminated, but it's so over. You are not making this year's playoffs. So why are you scratching Perreault in favor of an older line? I don't get it. I really don't understand. You have nothing to play for anymore. You burned a year of his ELC and you're scratching him. There's no way Chris Drury's okay with this. There's no way that any of them are okay with this besides LAviolette thinking, mathematically we're not eliminated. We got to get our best lineup in there, right? That he's a young kid who just came into the league. It makes no sense. You want to get this guy experience. You're not playing for anything at this point. Absolutely mind-blowing to me. But again, let me know in the comments what you think. Maybe I'm wrong. But I don't think I am in this case. I think that it's absolutely insane. Now, Brett Berard will also be playing on the penalty kill. The penalty kill and the power play need some help. So adding Brett Berard on the penalty kill maybe will add some, add a boost there, add some juice to the legs, hopefully. A possible sign that they could be swapping in and out of the lineup tonight, and that's exactly what happened. Absolutely insane. And again, Jonathan Quick will be starting tonight, but that is, I can't make sense of that. Now, to move on a little bit, and let me know in the comments what you think about that move, because I think that LAviolette at this point is so gone as the coach of this team. Like, so gone. And that does bear the question, what happens with Chris Drury at this point? Because he's been able to fire quite a few coaches at this point, and not just fire coaches. He's hired the next ones that he's had to fire as well. So we got to start asking the question this offseason, who's next? Who really is next, right? So we're moving on to Lafrenière. Now, I saw the stat this morning, blew my mind, because I knew that he hasn't been good, but this is absolutely insane. Lafrenière has had 3 goals. He scored 3 goals in his last 30 games. Now, that sounds bad, right? On paper, just reading that, 30 games. He hasn't scored in 30 games. That's awful. It gets worse. Lafrenière has 3 goals since January 21st. Lafrenière has scored 3 goals in 3 months. He has 1 goal for every month in the last 3 months. That's horrifying. How are you expecting to win that way? And he just signed his contract. This is the craziest thing. He ended last season like he was actually going to become the superstar. What we saw at the end of last season in the playoffs, you're like, this guy is going to become the superstar we thought he was going to be. He signs the contract, and it's so over after that. He's scored 1 goal for every month since January 21st. Absolutely insane. 299 players have scored more goals in that span than Alexis Lafrenière. I mean, you're not going to find any type of success as an individual that way. The team's not going to win because you're relied upon to be one of the top players, and you're not that. Just a recipe for an absolute disaster. So he has not been good this year, and they got to figure it out. And I am wondering with this player, is it the coach? Is it the coach that is, has lost the room? These guys have checked out. They're like, just get me to the offseason. I'm over it. And one thing's for sure, these guys got to, have a plan in the offseason as well. They got to get their conditioning up, because there's a lot of times this season too where it's like the other team just seems like they're out skating you, right? And not even a couple guys on the Rangers. Almost every single guy. You got to get your conditioning up this summer. You got to put attention to detail to that coming into next year. But again, I don't think LaViolette is the guy that's going to lead them into next season. It's absolutely insane. And this is from Johnny Lazarus. If there's one thing I've learned from this New York Rangers season, it's that I never want to hear the saying, the regular season doesn't matter. This team will only be judged on what they do in the playoffs ever again. The regular season does matter, right? You got to make the playoffs. So it does matter to a degree. But obviously the game changes in the playoffs. So you want to build a team that can succeed in obviously getting into the playoffs in the regular season and also succeed in the playoffs. They haven't been able to find that happy medium yet. So it's been tough. It's been horrible. So this has been a bad season. I mean, Lafrenière playing like this doesn't help, and then making dumb decisions, I'm going to call it that, like keeping Gabe Perreault out when you have nothing to play for with 5 games left in the season is dumb. I mean, you're not getting this guy any NHL experience at this point. You signed him. You burned a year of his ELC so he could play at the end of this season, knowing you probably weren't going to make the playoffs at the time you were signing him. And now you're not even playing him. It's mind-boggling that this is what's happening right now. But again, let me know what you think in the comments. Last thing I wanted to mention before we wrap up here is Johnny Brodzinski is in the running for this year's Bill Masterton Trophy, given to the NHL's player who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication to hockey. So I just wanted to mention that before we wrapped up. He is up for the award this year, and I think that's pretty cool. And, he's been great so far in the second half of the season. Obviously, he spent a lot of time being a healthy scratch, spent some time in Hartford as well. He's been a good story this year in a season full of negativity, honestly, and not great play. So just wanted to highlight that Brodzinski has been up for that award. So hopefully he wins it. I think he deserves it, and that is some good news for the Rangers on that front. But again, let me know in the comments what you think about Gabe Perreault getting scratched. Mind-boggling decision. Keandre Miller is returning from injury. Jonathan Quick starts tonight against the Philadelphia Flyers. And Alexis Lafrenière has been truly horrifying this season. He needs to pick it up. That contract is aging terribly by the day. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything New York Rangers.